once again. And there is Smith roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly from
clean cut All-American man.
Burrow airs it out. Chase, hello, touchdown.
Causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever. I got a reputation for a big heart. I can be a motherfucker too. I'll never tear you apart. So asylum won't do it for you. It's going down. You're going down. Fever. I got a fever.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, brand new spanking intro. How you feeling about it, man? I'm working on some things, but I feel like it's come out pretty well so far. How you feeling about the new intro, buddy?
Doug, brother, I am hyped. We adjusted it last year when Bronson Arroyo gave us the permission and let us use that song, and now we're just rebuilding off of it. Beautiful intro, really covering everything that is Ohio sports. We're gonna tweak it. We're gonna add some more teams in there, but for night one of the retweak, I mean, that's got me hyped because it's been a hell of a year, buddy. It's been a hell of a year for all of our teams. Good, the good, the bad, the ugly. I've said that term a lot on our show, but I just love the recap, honestly.
Yeah, and again, shout out to Bronson Arroyo for giving us the ability to use that song. We put out our interview with him on our audio version of this show. So if you haven't heard that yet, go check out the Bronson Arroyo interview last year now. So Jordan, big night for us. Two great shows in a row. We're hoping we can keep the momentum going. We're going to be talking a little Super Bowl recap here to kick off the show. After the Eagles dominated last night, we're going to get into it and break down that game. Then we're going to talk some Cavs basketball. They are stomping the Timberwolves tonight. And then we're going to do talk little pitchers and catchers reporting for duty here for the Reds. So a lot going on, and then some news and notes to close out the show, buddy. A lot going on tonight. I am excited. Let's get right into it. Last night, Jordan, the Super Bowl, Eagles 40, Chiefs 22, and that score does not even begin to tell the whole story, Jordan. Not even close. I mean, it was an absolute dismantling from the Eagles. As an outside viewer, obviously you're the Bengals fan, I'm the Browns fan. What were your thoughts on viewing this game? What were your thoughts, as our teams are sitting at home, hoping to get back to where these teams are?
I'll start at the beginning. I thought it was going to be more high scoring, especially on Kansas City's end. My prediction was 35-28. It wasn't too far from that, but right. Some of the Kansas City scores were in. We know it was in cleanup duty. We know it was garbage time. The Eagles kind of let the gas pedal up a little bit, but when you go up a certain amount, that's human nature, Doug. They knew the Lombardi Trophy was coming home to them, so hats off to their performance first and foremost. But Doug, defense wins championships. And I cannot stress that enough. As a Bengals fan, we kind of found that out a little bit too this year. Offense is one thing. Big plays are one thing. Being able to score is one thing. But Douglas, to have a defensive line that was only sending 4 to 5 at a time, they weren't necessarily running zeros all night. That to have that kind of effectiveness, I mean, 3 sacks in the first half, a sack and a half from Carter, that correction. But that tells the story, doesn't it? I mean, defense wins championships, and that's something Philadelphia, the last 2 drafts, they didn't necessarily make it, spend big bucks, bringing in guys left and right. They drafted well. They traded well.
Phenomenally.
And Doug, having a good GM goes a long way. Having a scouting department goes a long way. And as a Bengals fan, I'm going to continue to bitch about it. But
I know you are.
Defense wins championships. So that's where I'll sum it up there. I'm going to hand it off to you. Just the Eagles offense did it great as well. They didn't establish the run like I thought they would because Kansas City, they played run first, but their pass catchers got open and made the plays when they had to.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And I was impressed with the way Jalen Hurts was able to control the game offensively. I thought Saquon did get taken away for probably the first half, midway through the third quarter. He did get a couple runs there to get that number up. But, man, Jalen Hurts impressed me. I understand he had the bad interception. That happens from time to time, misread the coverage. But, Jordan, I thought he was in control of the game every step of the way besides that interception. 17 of 22, 221 yards, 2 TDs. He was sacked twice. But on the ground, Jordan, effective running. 11 rushes for 72 yards, 6.5 yards per carry. He had the rushing touchdown on the tush push. But I thought he managed the game extremely well. I thought he looked really good. Played a really good game and was well deserving of that MVP award. Let's get back to the defense that you were talking about, Jordan. 3 takeaways for the Eagles defense. It could have been 4. They dropped another interception that they could have had. Josh Sweat dominated the game up front with 2.5 sacks. Jordan Davis got in for a sack. Milton Williams got in for 2 sacks. Jalen Carter eating up blockers in the middle. He didn't get the full sack like we predicted he would, but the guy is just absolutely wrecking plays in the middle because he's able to eat up offensive linemen the way he is. Shout out to Cooper DeJean with that pick 6. That guy is extremely talented. He is fast. And Jordan, we're going to just come out and say it. He's putting white DBs back on the map because that guy is phenomenal, with the ball in his hand. And that's why they have him kick returning. But from the word go, Jordan, the Eagles defense was ready and amped up. And they weren't amped up to the point they were missing tackles or making mistakes. They were amped up as in locked in. Everything was picture perfect. Jordan, at one point in the fourth quarter, it was 40-6, dude. 40-6. We haven't seen that since, what was it? Who got blown out in the mid 2015?
It was the first time Denver played Seattle.
Yeah. They got
first time
throttled. We haven't seen domination like that in a long time. That was Legion of Boom era, and Peyton had nothing for him. I was super impressed with the defense, man. I love the way the Eagles have built their team. I hope that our teams take something from that game, and I hope they take from it how important a complete defensive line is, how important lockdown speed corners are. I just hope that our teams are taking notes because, that's what it takes to win a Super Bowl. It takes a team, a defense that's phenomenal. It takes a good quarterback who can control a game, a good running back who even when he gets, is still productive, even when he's getting shut down a little bit. He still ended up with 57 yards, and he still had, 6 catches. Barkley wasn't getting the big rushes, breaking the big runs like he's used to, but, man, he stepped up when he needed to, Jordan.
Let's not overlook his blitz pickups in the second quarter were just
to be able to block.
Phenomenal.
You have to be able to pick up a blitz as a running back in today's NFL, and that's a reason. Quick shout out to our Buckeyes, Judkins, Henderson. They love hitting somebody in the middle when they pick up a blitz. But great call because, man, Barkley numerous times giving Jalen Hurts extra time, extra ability to use his legs. Great call because I just thoroughly impressed, Jordan, with the Eagles' performance. Now let's flip it over and talk about the Chiefs. We know you guys as Bengals fans have a budding rivalry per se against the Chiefs. I thought for a majority of that game, Jordan, I thought Mahomes was never comfortable. He never had a chance to really get his feet set. He never had a chance to really, make any of those Mahomes specials type plays. And that's, a lot of credit to the Eagles defense, but man, he struggled. And you can tell, he threw 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That didn't mean dick. I mean, they locked him down. That's one of the worst performances I've seen in a Super Bowl in a long time, Jordan. What were your thoughts on how the Chiefs came out and man, they got punched in the mouth and they never got up off the mat. So give me some feedback on the Chiefs there.
Well, Doug, if we roll the tape from the last show, One of my comments was that Mahomes' interception rate this year was the highest it's ever been for his career, and it's been steadily going up. Some of that's been losing some weapons on the outside. You can say that attests to it. Xavier Worthy kind of makes up for that speedster he's been missing for the last 2 seasons, but it's the offensive line has just been slowly being, I won't say degraded because they're all pros, Doug, but slowly being what he was when he got there. It's kind of a shell within itself. And, losing Brown to the Bengals, moving Thuney to the outside the last 3 games, it just all caught up to them. And playing a defensive line like the Eagles when they're locked in, especially fundamentally, their defensive ends didn't over pursue. They stayed in the lanes. They didn't come crashing down. And that's one of the reasons Mahomes wasn't able to do some of the Mahomes magic. Because he never had time to set his feet or read or, make that outside scramble and find somebody down the field. Chipping on Kelsey. Got to give the linebackers credit where credit is due in an inside slot corner. That's something the Bengals were significant about the last couple of years. You got to get a big body on him. You got to, they challenged him all night long. So I just
he really struggled, man. Like I don't know if he's going to call it a career. I mean, he ended up with the 4 catches on 6 targets, but he had 2 drops. I mean, he did not look good. The way the Eagles guarded him was phenomenal. Eagles have speed everywhere, man. They have speed in different layers. It's really good to watch, really fun to watch. They just absolutely demolished the Chiefs' run game. Kareem Hunt, 3 rushes for 9 yards. P. Ryan 1 rush for 8 yards. Pacheco 3 rushes for 7. I mean, that's
something I want to discredit because that was kind of uncharacteristic, though, in my mind. Why you don't stop the run early, especially midway through the first quarter, midway through the second. I understand the Eagles were piling points at that time, but you can't get away from the run even when you're down. You have to establish some kind of line control, and that's just something that they didn't do well. They went into panic mode. They went into that, I'm playing Madden, so I got to get the sticks on and just go straight past because I'm down 10 points and I'm panicking. That's the way it kind of felt. That was really uncharacteristic because we've seen the Chiefs come back, 10 plus points a few times this year. And one of the accreditations was getting Kareem Hunt going, getting P-Ron going with the screen game. And it just looked like all those play calls were completely abandoned. So
quick
it was
shout
a little
out
bit
here.
uncharacteristic.
Jenna, thank you for tuning in, Jenna. We appreciate it. They were shut down really early in the game, and they just didn't respond well mentally or physically for the rest of the game. That's a great observation. To me, Jordan, it looked like they were some freshmen versus like a varsity type. I mean, the size difference in the Eagles, the way, the attitude. I mean, that's a really good point, Jenna. I mean, they just looked like they were playing 2 different sports almost out there. Jordan, we didn't hit our bet. We missed on a couple things.
I know.
But we did both predict the Eagles to win, so I feel good there. I did not expect the Chiefs to get demolished like this, but hey, man, it's a good day. I'm really impressed with the Eagles, man. I hope our teams, like I said, I hope they are taking notes. I hope they're watching the way these teams are constructed, and I hope that our teams can come out and play a closer brand of football to what we saw last night. Obviously, it's going to take a little time to get the players and the talent level the Eagles have developed, but we've got to head in those directions, I think, for our 2 teams. Jordan, any last thoughts on the Super Bowl before we get out of here, bud?
No, I enjoyed it. I was still watching the best football athletes in the world do their things regardless of blowout. Happy to see both teams at the end of the day. Now we're 0-0. Enjoyed the halftime show a little bit. Regardless of what side of the fence you're on in the beef, but to me it's all over. But shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Great choreographed, great timing. It was entertaining for me. I feel like maybe it just was geared towards our generation. I saw a lot of complaints.
That's fair.
But...
but here's the thing, I don't, whoever performs at halftime, great. I'm not the kind of person who gets caught up on, who's it for, that stuff. I just want to enjoy the music.
Correct.
I'm not going to be one of those people who get into the weeds. If it was a country artist and they performed well, great. If it's a rapper and if it's a band, if they do a good job, let's not worry about, who we're trying to please here. And I thought the 5 songs he picked, I thought it was a little too heavy shot at Drake, but that's, overall, I like Kendrick Lamar's music. So I'm going to overlook, did the whole halftime show have to be pointed at Drake? Probably not. But if you're a fan of beef, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, not a problem. I enjoy his music. So let's put a bow on that. Jordan, Super Bowl, Eagles 40, Chiefs 22. Hell of a performance from the Eagles. Let's move on, Jordan, to our Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, I'm going to bring up the score. Jordan, impressive stuff right now. 123-97. They're up, 26 points right now. Playing very good basketball tonight against a Timberwolves team who's missing a couple guys, but we're missing guys too, Jordan. So I'm not going to take anything away from us.
No.
Let's check we'll check the box score. Anthony Edwards ended up going for 44, but it hasn't mattered at all. It's not been a close game. A lot of his scoring has been empty tonight. He's taken 28 shots, 15 threes. He's gotten to the free throw line, but it's all very empty. Evan Mobley has dominated the game tonight in a major way. I mean, look at the stat sheet for Evan Mobley. 28 points, 4 blocks, 2 steals, 6 assists, 10 rebounds on 12 of 19 shooting. Impressive stuff from Evan Mobley tonight as we continue to watch him develop and become a really, really phenomenal basketball player, Jordan. Any thoughts right now on that? And then we're going to obviously touch on DeAndre Hunter here in a second, but big night for our bigs. Both had double doubles. Both definitely were impressive.
You took it away from me. I was going to make sure we gave the roses to Jared Allen, who, again quietly got another double, but was extremely active in the first half. Just God, Mitchell was just feeding him some beautiful passes. They're on a level of just like eye contact, body language, spiritual, however you want to name it. When you've been playing with somebody long enough, you start to figure him out. You start to know, okay, I'm here. He's going to be here. He's going to go inside. I'm going to follow him for cleanups. And that's just something that he's really nailed down this season. I'm not saying he wasn't effective in previous years, but Jared Allen is just on another level right now with this team when it comes to assists, rebounds, and the second chance points. So big shout out to Jared Allen again. And, our trade guy, he's coming in 3 for 4 from threes the last time I saw. That's effective. A couple of those shots were from the wing.
Yep.
But I'm happy with it. You got to get, you're not going to hit the ground running necessarily really hard, especially in Kenny Atkins' offense. He's going to acclimate, figure it out, especially not being the focal point. Kind of where he was in Atlanta, he was a solid second option, if not early third, depending on injury. Or on this team, he's got to take a step back and kind of figure out his role. And I think that's I give him about 2 or 3 more games, and we're going to see those stats of where he came from in Atlanta, especially since Dean Wade's going to miss some extra time. And Isaac Okoro is not coming back anytime soon. So
he practiced today, though. So maybe, actually, he did practice a little bit today. But let's talk about DeAndre Hunter, Jordan, his debut tonight. The game was really never close. So let's take that with a grain of salt. 23 minutes, 3 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, like you mentioned, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 12 points. He had a steal. He had a rebound. To me, in 12 minutes, that's an extremely effective game in a game that was never close, and we didn't really need the Caps starters to really go overboard. I'm glad he started tonight. I thought that was the right move. Especially with Strus out. You don't make this trade for a DeAndre Hunter and not start him, in my opinion, Jordan. So I'm glad they went that direction. But like you said, after the All-Star break, when this team's had some more time together and they can ramp it up, I expect bigger nights. The guy was a 19-point scorer on good efficiency. He's gonna get buckets. So we've got Toronto on Wednesday night, Jordan. That'll be the last game before the the All-Star break, and then we come back on the 20th next week. I expect against Brooklyn to probably see a little bit more of, more from DeAndre Hunter, but it takes time when you're on a new team. It takes time, and I have no doubt that the Cavs are in a good place with DeAndre Hunter and this team going forward. Great performance tonight. They're going to come away with a victory over a solid Minnesota team, Jordan, who was, like I said, missing some guys, of course, but a win is a win in this league. 43-10 after tonight. The Cavs are playing damn good basketball. Any last thoughts on the Cavs?
No, I think you wrapped it up perfectly. I'm super excited for them. We'll see the acclimation, see if they have any more moves left when it comes to the buyout. And I'm sure we'll be having a much bigger conversation post NBA All-Star break. Yeah,
quick shout out, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, all three guys All-Stars, all three very deserving. Since we won't get to talk to you guys until Thursday, we won't get to talk about. We'll recap the Toronto game, but we won't get to talk about really the All-Star until then. It's Darius Garland in the 3-point shootout. Hope he does well.
Yes.
Mitchell and Garland, or Mitchell and Mobley on the same team, I believe. Garland on the other team. I'm excited to watch these guys participate. 3 All-Stars, Jordan, is a big deal. Jared Allen could very well have been an All-Star and maybe an alternate. So I want to give those guys their flowers. They definitely deserve it, Jordan. It's been a special year, man. I just want to see it keep going and keep going, because I think this team is special, and I think with DeAndre Hunter, that takes us into that next tier of being a legitimate NBA title contender. So let's transition, Jordan. Let's talk a little pitchers and catchers. The Reds.
Yes.
Today's the day. Baseball season continues to get closer, Jordan. Continues to get closer. But before we get into it, I want a quick shout out. 842 live viewers tonight. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for jumping in and watching the show with us. We've had 3 incredible shows in a row. All of our social media here at the bottom. If you could check us out on YouTube, we're almost at 600 subscribers. We're working our butts off in terms of content, and we appreciate everybody who supports us. It means the world to us, guys. So I just want to get that in there before we start talking a little baseball, Jordan. Pitchers and catchers, buddy. Pitchers and catchers. What's our thoughts? A lot of good pictures out there. A lot of good content coming in. What are your thoughts, man? Baseball season, it's coming. It's coming fast.
Getting the rotation in healthy, Doug. We know how last year, between Hunter Green, Lodolo, and the list just kind of felt like it kept going on and on and on. So these guys, now they've had time to heal, and I just can't wait to see them in action. I hope they come in with from everything that I'm reading, via some local media outlets and stuff like that, especially, 700 LW, all that great stuff in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah.
The mindset's pretty positive. Everybody's talking the right thing. Everybody's saying the right thing on the mic. You don't feel any animosity. New head coach, all great things to say about his rotation. You love hearing that from the skipper, and I believe it because especially Hunter Green, I believe he's going to finish in the top 5 voting for the Cy Young Award. So I'm looking at this rotation, Doug.
Some people on this show, Jordan, believe Hunter Green will win the Cy Young, and we'll talk about that as we get closer. We'll get onto our predictions when we get a little closer to the year. But yeah, I got Hunter Green. I got Hunter Green making a solid push. So, but Jordan, I don't know what it is. Is it Terry Francona? Is it a little warmth in the air? Baseball, man. Baseball is almost here, dude, and I am beyond pumped up. Let me give this to you, Jordan. Pitchers and catchers report today. Position players, Ellie's there. Ellie's already there. Matt McClain. Some of these other guys are already there. I appreciate the hell out of those guys showing up. February 15th, position players report. February 22nd, first spring game against the Guardians and against the Brewers. Then we got the spring breakout prospects game on the March 16th. March 25th, final spring training game in Dayton. I love that the Reds are playing that game in Dayton. I think that means a lot, and the Dayton community will come out in droves to watch the Reds play at what is it, Day Air Park now?
Yes,
Day Air Park. And then March 27th, the 149th opening day in Cincinnati against the San Francisco Giants. Hunter Green will be taking the hill. I am pumped up, man. I am pumped up. So, what are you looking for in this spring training? Anything particular? Is there any, some of the young guys, Chase Burns, what are we looking for here?
Definitely the youth and where they're going to fit in rotational wise. If we're going to keep them up on the main roster, these guys are going to be every couple games, give our veterans some rest. But to me right now for the pitchers and catchers, it's all eyes kind of on the catching for me. I know we're solidified, but that is a position in my mind, and a lot of people could bump back, that we could upgrade via trade before, and I'm thinking way down the road, Doug, before their All-Star break. I think that's something that should be monitored. There could be a AAA guy out there that does it better. Could be a trade Francona will make, but nothing too drastic. But that's been a position of the kind of a little carousel the last couple seasons in my mind. But I think it could be upgraded before the trade.
See, I do think there are better catchers out there, Jordan. I think Tyler Stevenson has really nailed down the job in the last few years. We talked the other night on Seventh Inning Stretch on the Variety Sports Network. They mentioned potentially upgrading at the catcher position. I do agree. They brought in Trevino to be the backup catcher. I'm expecting more Tyler Stevenson, a little less, maybe surprise some less, games off this year with a guy like Francona. But, I think Stevenson's destined to have another big year, Jordan, in my opinion. And I think he came on really strong at the end of last year. So I'm not ready to just give up on, I know you're not saying give up on him, but I'm expecting Tyler Stevenson to have a good season and continue to get better in terms of average, power, things like that, and managing a ball game. I think he's got to continue to get better in that regard also, Jordan. But I think he's doing the right things. Again, if you could go out and get a really stud catcher, sure, I'm all in on that. But I prefer to probably, is there an outfielder out there that we could pursue, or some of those things at the trade deadline rather than maybe a catcher? For me, Jordan, like I said, it was great to see the pictures of the guys coming in: Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, Chase Burns, the high draft pick for the Reds. Some of these guys getting in and getting ready for for spring training. It's great to see the energy's back. The Reds put out the hype video last night. Man, that felt good. That video felt good. Man, it got the juices flowing. I was giving me that energy.
And I think some of the energy goes to being the face of MLB The Show this year for Ellie Deli Cruz and representing Cincinnati. I think that adds an extra element on top of having a new skipper on board.
Oh, definitely. No, and I appreciate you bringing that up because, when you have one of the most exciting players in baseball, Jordan, it's pretty easy to get excited about. And I'm glad you brought that up because Ellie, I'm expecting a damn big year out of this guy. I'm expecting this guy to really take over, which, it's hard. Baseball is a hard sport. There could be he could go through slumps, all kinds of different things, but I have a lot of faith. And like I said on the seventh inning stretch, Matt McClain is back. Matt McClain, our best hitter, is back. He's going to solidify the infield again at second base. I am very excited to see Matt McClain back in this lineup and ready to play baseball, Jordan. So Reds, pitchers and catchers report. It's great to have the boys back. It's got the graphic here. Stevenson and Hunter looking good, boys. Excited to have them back. Jordan, let's get to our news and notes tonight. Quite a lot happening in the world of sports outside of what we're talking about. Let's start with a two-time guest. Jim Tressel is now the lieutenant governor. Jordan, is that correct?
He was nominated. It hasn't been confirmed yet. We don't want to rush it. Rush it. But yeah, he was nominated to be lieutenant governor of the great state of Ohio. So big time stuff for Coach Tressel.
Yep. No, quick shout out to Jim Tressel, who's been nice enough to join us twice. We hope we can get him back on at some point. We know he's going to be a little bit busy now with the possible new appointment, but that's big time news. Jordan, next on the agenda, we're going to talk a little Buckeyes basketball, Jordan. when I say the word inconsistency, I feel like people probably think of the Ohio State Buckeyes because it's always there's just give and take, and they play really well. Then they go on this losing streak. They play really well again, and now they're kind of flip flopping wins and losses. In the last 3 games, Jordan, the loss against at Illinois that we talked about a couple weeks ago, they got the big win over Maryland at home by 3 points in a nice comeback, and then they lost to Nebraska at Nebraska by 8 the other night. Inconsistency, Jordan. Inconsistency. What are your thoughts on the Buckeyes, who are 14-10, 8th in the Big Ten right now?
Doug, they are. If I had to compare them to a roller coaster, they are the vortex of the state of Ohio right now. They 1 minute they're good, the next minute we're looping upside down, not knowing what we're doing.
Right.
We get the big upset. The night before against Maryland, then we go through a corkscrew and we drop a game right after that. It's just, good Lord. I hope they figure it out because I thought they were hot and then they just fell off. Diebler, Diebler's kind of in Ryan Day's shoes like 2 years ago. Like I feel like Diebler's like
It's a little early for that.
A little
Diebler
early for
has
that,
not run enough to even be in this conversation yet.
In basketball terms, I feel like he's right there. Like just, I don't know if it's a player, if it's I know the center position's a little bit questionable this year. I know we had the transfer come in. He plays solid, but it's inconsistent on a defensive end. If you ask me, I know they've gone out and they've dropped some bombs offensively, but just defensively, they look lost at times. They'll go into a zone and it'll look sharp. And it looks like just the help rotation underneath just isn't there. We're always getting back cuttered to death, and it's just something you see at game after game after game after game, and you're like, eventually you just kind of like figure it out. Maybe I shouldn't rotate over and just stand in the middle and kind of be a wall for better or worse. Let's see what happens. But just giving the guys the back door cut straight into the rim, it's kind of pissing me off these days. But I don't have any other way to say it, Douglas, but they're inconsistent. And hopefully, the conference tournament's right around the corner. Let's see what they can do. But that's where I'll leave it. And just, God, can we get some consistency on D?
Okay, so Ohio State has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left, Jordan. They are 14-10. As of right now, Joe Lunardi had them in the bracket of 68. I think they've got a tough haul. They got Michigan, who's ranked, and nobody else is ranked in that last 7 games, but it's going to be a tough go of it, Jordan. So I'm excited. On Thursday, Jordan, I think we go through a whole Ohio recap of the college basketball scene. We talk about each of the major colleges. We'll talk about the MAC teams on Thursday night. We'll get a little bit more into college basketball. Quick shout out to everybody. 1,000 live viewers. We just hit it. Thank you. Like we talked about earlier. Jordan, next on the agenda, Matt Patricia is interviewing for the Ohio State defensive coordinator position. That's been reported by a couple of different people on X. Any thoughts on that, Jordan? Because that kind of sounds like shit to me.
You hate it?
I hate it. Matt Patricia stinks. Why would I want somebody who's not been relatively successful in a long time in the NFL? Like, yeah, at school he was an NFL coach, but he stunk.
Do you think he just needs to come back down? Because you look at success. I mean, back down to college, because you look at when Nick Saban rejoined Alabama, the Dolphins were a damn near 0-16 team, and he left them before the season ended. So NFL play doesn't necessarily relate to your success in college. So I'm not going to knock them in yet. Do I think there are better options out there? Absolutely. But, statistically speaking, the two leagues, they don't always translate. I don't know. I mean, he's still a champion in regards, correct? I mean, he has a Super Bowl as a coach.
I mean, yeah, he wasn't the head coach. And his head coaching career is 13-29. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the hire. I think there's better options out there, in my opinion. I thought it was
not locked in yet.
I know. He's only getting an interview. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't love it. For me, that's my only thing. It doesn't seem it doesn't seem like the right fit for me to go from Jim Knowles to Matt Patricia. I would like to see somebody different take over that position, Jordan. One more thing before we get into your news and notes, Jordan. Last night you put out a tweet. Last night you put out a post, whatever it was. Let me get back into the highlights real quick here, folks, because me and Jordan had some fun with this last night. Jordan, you complained about the Bengals management getting rid of Jake Elliott in the 2017 season, and you treated it as if it was an indictment on the team today, 8 years later. So would you like to talk about this, or have you given up completely? Because I would love to figure out what we were going for last night.
Yeah. No, it's 100% knock. It's 100% knock to the front office of the Cincinnati Bengals. My crusade against the front office is never ending. 8 years, the wound still has some salt in it, Doug. I know you backed me in a corner. Statistically, Randy Bullock,
He was really good that year.
was good that year. But that same year, Elliott had a couple game winners for Philadelphia that were 45 yards and beyond that year. So just seeing him being consistent and making it, it's another Bengal that got a ring, Doug. We drafted him. It's another Bengal that got a ring outside of
Cincinnati. He didn't even make it to week 1 on the roster.
That's a testament. That's a testament to how bad.
No, it's
this
not.
Front office
Randy Bullock took 90%. He took 90% on field goals that year. And you're talking about 8 years ago, the Bengals making a mistake on a kicker.
It didn't feel like
there was a level of absurdity from you, and he's been with the Eagles ever since. Good for Jake Elliott. It was a funny moment, us going back and forth. Jordan did delete the tweet because I thought it was a little extreme, even for his
there were a couple likes on it when we. There was a couple likes on it when I deleted it. It was a rough go.
Happy to delete those likes also, because whoever liked that is an enabler and they're part of the problem. So I just thought it was a major reach by you. Sometimes you get a little out there, and somebody has to reel you back in. And I thought last night was my opportunity to get you back into where we needed you. But no, that was just a fun little thing. Me and you going back and forth during the game last night. Jordan, hell of a show tonight. 1,043 live viewers. Got 6 likes over on the Facebook page. That's good for Facebook. Facebook is a wasteland of just confusion on how to get people to like your stuff.
It's the Wild West.
Whoever does well on Facebook, congratulations. But we are struggling there. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching the show. We'll be back Thursday night at 9:00. Guys, we're going to talk some college basketball in Ohio. We're probably going to talk a little NFL draft. We're going to talk our Cleveland Cavaliers recap against Toronto. We're going to have another full show Thursday night at 9:00, guys. 3 shows in a row, Jordan, over 1,000 live viewers. Guys, that is major, major stuff for us. I cannot tell you enough how much it means to us to have people watch this show and support us and interact with us on X is our main spot, but Instagram, TikTok, all of those places, it means the world to us. So thank you. And we're going to keep trying to get better, guys. The intro today, we'll post that out there because I thought that was a lot of fun, and we're going to keep getting better, Jordan. And that's our goal, right? I mean, keep getting better. Absolutely. We've got a couple things in the pipeline, a couple potential interviews coming up. We're rocking and rolling, buddy. A lot of good work behind the scenes from both of us. Guys, this has been Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. We will see you guys Thursday night at 9:00. See you then. Peace.